This beautiful and special little creature
will be a revolution in the livestock industry. Our super pigs will not only be big and beautiful, they will also leave a minimal footprint on the environment, consume less feed, and produce less excretions. And most importantly, they need to taste fucking good.
Okay, if it's cheap, they will eat it. This encapsulates the message of this movie. We laughed at it, but actually we're laughing at ourselves. And that's the thing about your two characters. They are the antagonists, but in fact they represent many of us, most of us. They're just trying to survive, like each one of us. Your character is an animal lover. You're trying to reach out to the people, but you have to compromise your morals. How do you see those characters?
Exactly as you just described them. You know, what do you say it so eloquently? They are, they're not people. They are.
Yeah, they're sort of their tendencies. The most important through line of the film is, of course, Okja and Mija's relationship and the quest for Mija to find Okja again, and we are the antagonists to them. They're the sort of, you know, the audience jumps into the avatar of them, and then we are the obstacles. And so I think we are both Lucy Miranda and Dr. Johnny are they're human tendencies. It's you don't have to look very far to see people rocking the same sorts of looks and saying the same sorts of things and wearing the same sorts of attitudes. They're both major liars and fools and con artists, but you know, it's not hard to feel compassion for them because they're both really lost.
Do you judge him morally? Do you look, oh, this is the bad, the antagonist, and this is the good? How do you approach these kind of characters?
I think you always have to love the characters that you play. So there's an interesting relationship between actor and the character that they're playing, and then there's a subjectivity there. And then afterwards, you're watching it objectively, and obviously you recognize them as not good. But I don't think that's the way, as you can ask most actors, I don't think it's the way you can ever really play a more evil character. You know, you have to be able to love them. So I loved Dr. Johnny and understood and empathized with. There are things in me I understand his tendencies, the tendency for sort of conventional success and to be loved and approved of, and you know, there are all these very simple ideas that we all want. He just takes them to an extreme. So I'm sure, I don't know.
Yeah, when you're playing humans, I mean, it's slightly different if you're playing immortals because they're not humans, so they can be something different. But when you're playing humans, you're just playing behavior and you're playing decisions. And they're all making decisions. And most of the decisions, I would say, that Dr. Johnny and Lucy are making are not necessarily healthy decisions for them or anybody else.
Definitely not for anybody else.
It reminds me of when you have little children and you say, you know, no, you don't hate so-and-so, you just don't like their behavior. You know, there's a difference. And I think to always keep that distance and always notice that people can make new decisions. They can change, and they can change track.
What makes you wonder, how do we judge people? Is it by their actions or by their thoughts of what's inside them?
Both. How you judge people, did you say?
Yeah, because your character, for instance, he's an animal lover, but what he does is cruel to animals.
Well, I think feelings are much different than action. You know, I think that feelings are important to have, and always, no matter what they are. It's when you deny those feelings that's a different thing. It's when you act on feelings is when there are repercussions. So I think there's a world in which Dr. Johnny has those feelings, but moralistically he makes other choices, and this is not that world. You know, he acts on his feelings and has no stoppage point. You know, so I think it is all about action ultimately, because we are complicated beings, you know, full of very contradicting feelings all the time.
Is eating meat immoral?
Oh no.
So what is the message of the movie?
The treatment of creatures, the treatment of each other, the dismissal of connection, the fear of connection, the terror to connect, and our desperate need somewhere as a culture to find success in convention, to find success in capitalism, as opposed to success is when we connect, when we are seeing each other and hearing each other and respecting each other.
And settling for too little for ourselves as well, cheating ourselves of having a conscious relationship with what we put in our bodies. You know, there is a way of knowing about what we're putting in our bodies which is not encouraged, which is very easily, you know, avoided by people. You know, it is, capitalism makes it very easy to not think about what we're putting in our mouths or what we're buying, what we're consuming. And we don't become thinking beings, we become consumers. We're constantly being told that we're consumers.
And it's hard, very hard, given the economic situation in most of the world. You need to buy food that is of a certain price to feed your family, and so the people who make food, it's a responsibility, you know, in mass quantity to make it in a conscious, thoughtful way, you know, so that everyone is allowed, you know, the same things, which is health and you know, nourishment that is made in a you know, conscientious way. That's of utmost importance.
Just about being awake.
Thank you for being awake.